Hello and welcome to Furious Driving, and I don't want you guys to think I've forgotten about my little 1969 Morris Mini 1000, because I haven't. It's been on my mind all the time, and today we're going to try and make some serious progress with it, because today we're only going to go and blow the bloody doors off. I'm sorry, I didn't want to do that, it's the law, yeah.
Furious Driving, proud to be supported by Diamond Bright, protecting, cleaning and caring for the Furious fleet and for yours, with 10% off using code FD10. Follow the links in the description below.
Hello and welcome to Furious Driving, the home of poor financial decisions when it comes to buying cars that no one else wants, but I love, so we're going to fix them. Well, we're in the barn today, and there's a couple of things to let you know about while we're over here in the barn. First of all, I arrived here to find that we've been haunted, apparently. Look at the state of this. I'm guessing someone in one of the other units here was doing some pretty intense woodwork, because they've swept up outside but not underneath my door, and this is actually, I think, a sand or sawdust, but it's all over absolutely everything. So I've got ghost cars in here now. That's never happened before. What else has happened over here? Yes, I wanted to buy accompanying flags to go with my Union Jack over there for the British cars. I wanted Italian flags and Volvo flags. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time this has happened to me. I found flags online in imperial measurement units. I don't get on with that particularly well. Over our stairs in our house at home, we've got a picture of our old dog Rhubarb, which is about that kind of size basically, because it asks for the measurements in inches, and I kind of thought it was centimetres, so it's like 1.5 meters across, massive canvas print of the dog. Yeah, that didn't work out well. Anyway, so I thought, when it said, how big do you want it? I thought that was about 8 foot by 5 foot, because honestly, it's ridiculous old-fashioned measurements. This turned up, and yeah, it's a little bit bigger than I wanted. I might stick it to the ceiling somewhere, bring a big ladder up and bang it on the ceiling. Yeah, that's clearly not 8 foot by 5 foot, that's more sensible size. There's also a far nicer flag, that's like lots of stitched stuff, and that's just cheapy nylon, which is what you get off eBay. But also updated to the barn, because I love having the music on when I'm over here. I turn it down in the background when you can't hear it on the microphone. I've been listening to this little really handy Draper cordless D20 thing, which shares its batteries with my power tools, but it's great, but every time the phone rings it turns the radio off. And I was in the charity shop the other day, always scouting for cameras in charity shops, which I always do. Didn't find anything, but did find this, which is an incredible JVC mini system. I mean, check out these beautiful speakers. The sound off this is just astonishing. I can't share it with you, because I'd get demonetised. But trust me when I say there is incredible depth and clarity to these speakers, and I can hear it so beautifully. It's like a proper music event when the radio is playing in here now, which is fabulous. And the remote works all the way from down over there, which is brilliant. So I'm going to put this upstairs, I think, or possibly one of the cars. The mini radio still doesn't work, so I might stick this in the mini and travel around with that in there. So that's an update number one, 10 quid. Unfortunately, the CD player has a weird thing that it opens a lid again when you hit play. There you go. Which is really quite frustrating. It does that for the remote as well. And when you put a tape in it, I was rather hoping to play tapes in here. They don't really go anywhere, so I think it probably needs a new drive band in the tape player. Anyway, you didn't come here to see this, you came here to see cars. Not massive flags and very cheap but beautiful quality radios. So we'll do an episode trying to fix that at a later date. I've got some other old hi-fi to fix as well, so maybe on the side channel on T-Break we'll do a bit of fixing. Anyway, I can move this little punto out the way and we'll show you what we're going to talk about today. Now, I'm not saying I'm easily distracted, procrastinating and not getting on with things, but it's about an hour later and I haven't actually moved the punto yet, but I have swept the floor very considerably. In fact, I've gone most of the way down the alleyway outside the access passage to get the dust away from here, and then I couldn't find my dustpan, so I started looking around and cleaning things up. Yeah, then I went and made a little holder for the remote control for the radio, so I can pop that in there and use it over here. There's some quite clever gaffer tape work in there actually, so it's actually doesn't go all the way down to the bottom because it'd be too deep, so I made a little step inside there by folding some corners in. Quite pleased with that, and it's also, you know, nice car tag logo there. And because the cars are really dusty, I just also express wash and waxed 4 cars, which actually took very little time indeed, considering 4 cars which are absolutely filthy. I mean, these cloths are disgusting now and soaking wet. But yeah, that's like a pretty good entire bottle of wash and wax. I need to go and get some more of that. But that's done a cracking job. Don't forget, code FD10 over at diamondbright.co.uk. Thank you, Diamond Bright, for your continued support of the channel. Much appreciated, especially considering how good these cars look after being ghost Punto a minute ago. Now it's deep and shiny Punto again, which is better. Now, what I actually came here to do, before I did literally nothing and just dusted stuff, I even dusted the edges of the doors. I'm going to start trying to take the doors off. Oh God, I can see where my next distraction is coming, because those number plates need to go on the wall. Unfortunately, the Alpha has no clutch. Well, it's got a clutch, but it's a really, really dicey clutch. It's got one more drive left in it, and that's going to be into the workshop at Go Italia to get that sorted out. We're just waiting on them having a gap in their diary when we can all meet up and film that. Yeah, so once that's moved, I can put those number plates on the wall and work out actually where the gaps in my collection are. Procrastinating more again. I'm doing anything other than doing any work today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Yeah, I've got a lot of American ones. I've got a lot of Australian ones, amongst other parts of the world. But yeah, I need to work out which ones I'm missing from the USA and which ones I'm missing from Australia. And have I got New Zealand? I can't remember if I've got New Zealand or not. Anyway, right, so the issue we have here is rust. These doors actually open an awful lot more easily now that I've loaded these hinges with Bulldog. They are bolted through this little A panel just here, on the back of it, which you won't see a thing because it's, you know, dark. But they are very, very crusty indeed. So I'm going to have to see if I can either heat them, Bulldog them, battle them off with an impact, or what, or ultimately just try and grind them out. I don't know. But this A panel, I don't know how good it is. The door doesn't actually, if I move this book, I was just reading that a second ago about how you remove the glass in the door handle, isn't actually lined up anyway. I think once it's adjusted or loosened up on the back, you can adjust this out. So this is going to take a little bit of fiddlation once it all goes back together again. But first of all, I'm going to try and take the glass out because I don't want the glass to break, because that would be an awkward thing. Also, I'm going to get the door mechanism off while it's attached to the car. That's all going to be easier, I'm thinking. Now, the book, and thank you to Matt and the other person who both gave me copies of the mini workshop manuals. I've got one here and one at home. Very useful indeed to understand what you're meant to be doing, because I could not see any means of removing this channel. The book says to undo the screws and then lift the channel and the glass out together, and it emphasises the word carefully. I can't find any screws, so oh god, this also felt channel has gone crispy. So I'm thinking maybe the screws have been taken. I can see screw holes, so I'm thinking maybe the screws have been taken out already and not put back, and it's just been pushed into place. Let me show you. There's a screw hole just there. It should open more, I'm sure. Oh, screw hole's just there as well. But yeah, this is terribly, terribly crispy. This is all terribly, terribly crispy indeed. I've just noticed, I was looking at how it all comes apart, this little small rear bit of glass has got a 8mm bolt holding it in place. This one's got a crosshead screw, so I'm just wondering if when it mentioned these screws holding it in place, the Haynes manual actually meant these screws rather than the ones into the channel. No, I can't do, because it said take it out with the channel in one, but I'm going to do that instead, I think. I love it when I guess right. It actually was an 8mm. I'm guessing this is not original based on the number of washers that are part of it. Okay, this feeds off. I thought this might be more willing to fall out at this point. I was wrong. I'm not sure how much of this is rust, crust, or just broken stuff. Well, this nut brown screw is just unwinding like nothing else. Thank you, Bulldog. I don't know if this stuff was meant to be attached to the glass, or if it's stuff that was in the channel previously, but it is very much attached to the glass now. But I don't even know if this is part of the channel, if it's just dirt that's turned solid over the last 30 years. No, maybe not. I thought it would fit out, but it doesn't quite. But I can see yet more screw holes. Oh, there is a screw in there. Aha, it was under the dirt. That's why you don't force stuff straight away. You keep on fiddling until you find out what you're actually looking at. Oh, this rubber channel is... Oh, gross. That is the rubber channel that was. Okay, oh, there's one screw, just one screw that you can see. Let's give that a quick whirl. I lost it in the rust. Give that a minute to soak through. Oh, there are definitely no others. Aha, there's one just there, little flathead. It's all underneath the rubber. So there's a whole bunch of screw holes that are big and obvious, and then there are other screws that are actually doing the holding stuff in. Because of course there are. Do you know what? It's lucky I brought this with me today. I wasn't planning on using it just here, but I don't think I've got a choice at this point. Well, that end is free, that's good. Oh, I see the problem now. I've cut the top off it, the bottom is still anchoring it in there into the bloody door. Right, so I had to go and cut the bottom off that other screw as well because that was doing nothing either in terms of coming undone. I'm very fearful of just yanking this thing in case the hole that comes down, bringing the glass with it. In case that happens with the window and the glass goes smashy smash. I don't want to happen. Oh, there we go. The frame is off. Oh God, now it's the point at which everything is going to break. Okay, frame is out. Glass, which needs not to fall on the floor. It did say on the book to take it all out in one thing, but that clearly isn't happening. Not now, phone! Not now! Oh, phew. Well, that was definitely easier with the door here in the car, and it had the risk of falling on the floor, but the wriggling and the jumping around, that certainly made life easier being attached. What a lot of grot inside there. You can see where I had to cut the screws off there and there. I might replace those channels because that chrome didn't look that special, to be honest. Looks weirdly like it's had multiple... Oh, that's rusted through. Okay, that's an interesting potential repair just there. It's amazing the places you find that go rusty in a car. This is full of a lot of crud, so curious. Right, let's move on. Moving on, let's get the big screwdriver. Fetch the big horse. That's too big, I would say. Let's give this a whirl with the drill rather than try and do it by hand. Oh, okay, that's actually remarkably easy. A little too easy. It's where this car's been taken apart multiple times over the years. A lot of the fixings don't feel like they are the correct things, so I'm probably going to have to go and buy a few replacement fixings. Maybe I have to take... Maybe the outside one has to come off first. Where's my book? That was what appears to be an 8mm bolt on the back of the door handle, which holds that to the outside of the car. I'm very much doing this with the wrong hand. Okay, so that literally comes out like that. With okay, that's attached to that as well. So that presumably has got, like a grub screw attaching that to that. So why is this not coming off? Well, it turns out that this generation of Mini uses a fairly basic method of connecting the interior and exterior door handles together. They are literally the same thing. And one screw was left holding, I don't know if there should be 2 screws in there, or bolts through the door, but only one was actually holding this one to the door. That's now free. And then we just have the query of, why does this one not want to come out? There's a bolt on the back of that. Hold on a second, guys. Yeah, the nut on the back of this bolt is no longer captive. So it's a two-handed job to get something on the back of there to hold that tight while I unscrew that. Then that should release. Please release me. Dum-dee-doo. There we go. Oh, easy peasy. Lemons, possibly even squeezy. Oh no, maybe not. Wow. Off. So this entire door mechanism is about the simplest thing I think I've ever seen. My shed's got a more complicated door than this. Actually, no, I'm not kidding either. It has actually got a ridiculously complicated thing. It's an American lifetime shed, so it's all quite over the top. So this is the entirety of the door locking mechanism for the driver's side. I had to go and bung it in a bag somehow. Well, I'm going to start with the low-hanging fruit because, well, frankly, why not? Oh, okay, that's come undone. I thought I'd sheared it off for a second there, but it's actually undone. Who knew? I don't know if this is from this car or not, but I just found a rearview mirror. Hello. I'm trying to work out what that says on this particular tool. I think it says it's a 3/16 socket. So I'm going in with brute force and indeed ignorance. I tell you what, it's amazing how easily these monkey wrenches adjust when you haven't set fire to them with a welder several times. And this is actually, ow, coming undone. That's done up too tight, to be honest. This might come undone with the screwdriver now, or it might being this monkey wrench. And it's turning. It's just very, very stiff indeed. This is another thing I'm gonna have to go on to the. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that was kind of inevitable. I guess I'll be drilling that one out later. Okay, so that one snapped off. That one I've undone. Got the two 11mm, wherever they were. That was dropped into the door. So just one more bolt holding it on. And that door is now free! I was only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Sorry. As I say, it's not my choice. I don't get to say whether I say that or not. But yeah, that door is now free, so much easier to sandblast the car. Well, I'm glad we've achieved something today. Now I need to pull the car out and do the other side, but it's now school pickup time, so I'll do that one on the next, well, not the next instalment, it'll be the same instalment of this video. I need to go and do it on a different day, probably tomorrow. It's another day and there's no door on the car. I hope nothing's been stolen out of it. Sorry, terrible dad jokes. Right, so yes, it is day 2 of taking doors off the Mini because procrastination and school runs and stuff. So back in again, taking the Mini apart. I will apologise, I've had a look at some of the footage we shot yesterday and the audio is really weird. And there's a problem with this GoPro. I'll find a mirror to show you it. I am talking on this GoPro using this Rode Wireless Go, which has got a microphone on my chest. And normally, it doesn't matter where I put the camera within digital range, it'll pick up the audio from me and it'll sound nice and clear. Every now and then though, for reasons that make no sense at all, because the readout on the microphone says everything's working, the readout on the back of the camera says everything's working, I'm getting little green graphs saying audio is happening. But regardless of all of that, it's using the internal camera and the microphone, and so it's echoey and distant, and as I turn away from the camera, you can't hear me properly. Hopefully it's now working properly. I don't know why it does this. Every now and then it just does, no rhyme nor reason. It's just a GoPro thing, and you know, I wish there was a better solution. I'm probably to do a video about this at some point. The hassles of trying to find the perfect YouTubing camera, because it doesn't exist. Anyway, right, let's crack on and see if we can A, get these hinges off, and B, get that door off, which means moving the car out of the way. Right, let's do stuff. Lurking underneath this inner wing, which is actually pretty crusty, we've got 2 bolts on each of these brackets which hold the door hinges on the outside of the car. Quite an unusual arrangement, but you can see them just there. So I'm going to try and battle those off. The first one is a 3/8, so I'll whack that on there. There's not room for an impact, so I'm going to get busy with the hand tools. Just see if we can either undo it or shear it off. Oh, I have been marinating it in the Bulldog for quite literally weeks, so that does mean we've got a fighting chance. It's going to first attack this. It did not want to move at all. And bear in mind, this is right in the firing line of every bit of dirt, road salt, water, everything that flies off the front wheels lands on these bolts. So the fact it's turning at all is something of a miracle. Right, I can't get a short, large size socket in there, so I've gone for a medium size, long socket. It's had to be a metric, but it seems to be doing, oh, it's doing the trick. Wow. Well, 20 minutes later, and pretty much every socket that I've got over here in the barn, that one little bolt is still stuck. It started unwinding quite happily, then got halfway and then just stopped. I don't know what's with these ridiculously inaccessible bolts, but they do not want to turn at all. And you can do nothing about getting a tool onto them. Also, while I'm under here, look at the state of that under piece of the scuttle. That is not pleasant. So, oh, man alive. Well, that's all quite annoying. I think I'm going to go and work on the other door, because at least I can maybe achieve something then. Because that's right. So we've swung around, dragged the car out to look at the passenger door. In this one, oh, this swings so easy. It doesn't shut all the way tight though. So I wonder if that A post, or A panel, I should say, was replaced and the hinges were never adjusted to make it fit. But something, because I'm not familiar with these Mark IIs, I hadn't noticed on the driver's side door lock, there was nothing up this end. On this one though, there's a little lock, and I had wondered how you lock the door from the inside, so and now I know there's a bit missing. Let's start off by taking this door lock out, because that'll be a good place to begin, I reckon. Nice and easy, low rent, low hanging fruit. Now this door card it's seen better days, let's be honest. I'm not sure on the correct methodology of taking these things out, but since this is already trashed, it doesn't really matter if we break it some more. Ooh, some red plastic, I wonder where that goes. Guessing that, oh, it's broken. Is that part of the Mini? Well, this is how on earth did he manage that moment? This one's actually got a screw holding it in, so I guess that lock must have come out and then put a screw through there. That makes sense now, so that I actually can get a screwdriver through to. So I wonder if that's the correct way, and the little nut that I saw on the other side was an improvisation to make it work. Well, that's also interesting. The rear section has got a felt, like a wind noise thingy on it, which the other side didn't, and the little rubber doodad gaskety grommet thing is very much glued to the glass, which again wasn't on the other side. There's felt trim. That is long gone. That I don't mind destroying this because it is crispy as anything. Not pleasant at all. Let's bring you in closer for have a look at this. It is horrible, and it's gone crusty and rusty underneath as well. And it should just peel out and reveal the screws underneath that we need to undo. The outside rubber is even worse. Damn. Hope you had your shots. Wow. Okay, so interestingly, the screw holes I saw on the other side are here as well, so those weren't not drilled later on or anything like that at all. Rusty channel just broke off and hurt me, so that's nice of it. Ow. The glass does now move a little bit though, because we've got nothing really holding it in place. This one though, it's still rock solid, so more chiselling to do. Well, I've done a lot of scraping. I can open the door now, the window, sorry. And what I can't locate though is any kind of screw fixing, because that's what I need to be undoing. To release this.
kind of the automotive equivalent of pimple popping, scratching through all kinds of crud. Aha! Found the screw. Is it even a screw, or is it just a stud that needs to be lifted up or something? I might have to cut this off again. I wasn't sure this was actually a screw because I couldn't see any kind of head on it, but having levered the chrome up with a screwdriver a touch, you can actually see the threads in there, so it definitely was a screw once upon a time. It just isn't anymore. And that, after that, is the end of that screw hanging from that. One end done. Ha! Did I find? Yeah, I did find another screw, which is, again, it's like a stud. It almost feels like it's a screw that's been, I don't know, riveted over or after it's been screwed in or something. It's really strange. That's it, we are free. And that one has popped as a end off as well, which is useful. Now I should be able to wheedle this whole lot out carefully. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's exactly what it says it would do in the Haynes manual. Oh, there's a third one. Ah, that's gonna be hard to cut off. All right, that one's gone as well. So off we jolly well pop. Okay, I have actually ground that a little thinner than I wanted to, but we can fix that with the welder later on, not a problem. Now we just need to play with these. Well, that's coming off really easy. Amazing. That's bizarrely easy as well. Soaking stuff for weeks on end in penetrating oil apparently does do a trick. These two came undone quite easy. This one in the bottom though is a slightly different size nut to the ones on the other three, which was a surprise, but we are nearly done getting this door off the car. Whee! And we are free. And you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Sorry. No doors on the car, I can move inside and do some other stuff. I'm bored of those hinges, I'll come back to that another day. You could take this little instrument panel out. I didn't notice one of these switches was actually broken before, but because there's a lot of wires going into this, I'm just labelling all of them as they come out, and I've taken a bunch of photos on my phone as well, so hopefully I can put all these back in the right order eventually. And out it comes, 1, 2, 3. Choke on the left, heater controls on the right, but that is the dashboard apart. Just need now to work out how to strip all of this wiring loom out of the car, which shouldn't be too hard. There's a button here. That I think is the, well, that's the pressure operated. Oh, I can hear it squirting water. That is the windscreen washers, isn't it? Okay, they'll figure out how to take that off as well. But basically, we're very, very nearly there now. There's not a lot left on the car. A couple of bits of rubber. The exhaust pipe is still somehow hanging on there. And we've got, oh, the windscreen wipers. Whoops. Motor. That needs to come out somehow. That's causing me grief because that is well and truly stuck because it's using Phillips screws that do not want to come undone even a little bit. The windscreen washer is held in by a little screw thing on the front of it, which I just tried to turn very, very, very gently with some pliers, and it fell apart. Plastic fatigue and all that. That then slides out, and the bracket underneath it is held in by a couple of screws, so that can pop out nice and easy, and I can remove the windscreen washer from the equation. Now had a broadly successful video. We had a stated objective, which was completed and had a stated outcome. So we've done stuff that sounds almost like corporate and real, like I've got a proper job, but we haven't really. We're just playing around with an old Mini. The doors are gone, hinges not really gone yet. This is all dismantled, and that will come out through that big grommet with the wiring loom when I figure out how to do that without breaking it. The lighter socket and the plunger button are all disconnected, and everything's out of the dashboard now. So really all we've got left to do is that wiring loom, those hinges, and this wiper motor. And that, oh, that thing down there. That is basically everything left in this car, and it's just a shell at that point. Then we can either dip it or blast it. Then the question becomes, what specifically do we do? And do I go and get a blasting machine in here and have a crack at it myself? I know it's a tricky thing to do and you can damage the car, but if you go carefully, I'm sure we can do this without too much mess and expense. People have said don't dip the Mini because there's so many crevices and things, you won't get the seam sealer back in there. But looking at the state of this car, I'm not sure that's really an issue. But the bigger problem is that once it's painted, those little crevices will dribble the acid stuff later on and spoil the new paint, which will be an issue. Or take it somewhere to be professionally blasted by someone who knows what they're doing. And is someone watching a professional media blaster who fancies having a crack at this? Get in touch if you are. Fancy sponsoring a video by blasting the car for me? I'm listening, I'm ready to talk. But yeah, there we go. Mini is very nearly ready to take down to, well, a bare shell. It is a bare shell, but then a barer shell of just purely metal and a little skim of grey under seal of some kind to stop it from flash rusting. Then we can see really what kind of car we're looking at. I'm thinking dipping may be the way forward because I can see there is so much stuff to come out and there's some thick under seal on the inside. Because this was worked on, restored last 25 years ago, a quarter of a century. It's been sitting in a garage with rot creeping through. So I'm sure we're going to find a lot more than we're bargaining for. I'm sure, judging by the gleeful comments who always wish me ill, that yeah, you guys are hoping it's going to be terrible, or some of you are anyway. But yeah, this is potentially not too bad, but we will see. We, as they say, will see. Right. Okay, well, if you've enjoyed this video, as always, like, subscribe, you know the drill. Come and watch some of the other videos because it helps boost the channel up. If you like what you see, maybe want to help with the channel out a little bit more, maybe consider becoming a channel member or a Patreon. There are links in the description below. Hit the merch store for many nice things. And of course, all the tools I'm using are over on the Amazon affiliate store, so you can go and find them. And everything you click on Amazon does also help the channel, because this all costs a whole bunch of money, unfortunately. And yeah, got to pay for it somehow. So anything that you can do that costs you nothing is brilliant. Right, so thank you for watching, and join me again next time doing something, I don't know, maybe on this one, maybe one of those, I don't know. Thank you and goodbye.